StrayAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Today's daily discipline is the discipline paradox. Paradox of discipline. Paradox is simply just a concept that you can look at things from two different angles and kind of get two different conclusions from it. What a paradox means. And the paradox of discipline is the simple fact that when you're being disciplined at something, sometimes that discipline is because it's not quite working right yet, right? And that's the reason why sometimes we got to push ourselves, or we got to put the right structure in place that produces discipline for us, because it's not easy for us to keep going at that thing. Usually you don't even need to think about discipline when you're doing something that everything is working and it feels fun and everything's going really smoothly. Usually you don't even need discipline to do that. You'll probably come back to doing it without discipline, because the excitement and the momentum of the success that you're enjoying is carrying you along, and you don't need to tell yourself to be disciplined, right? So usually discipline is required when things are not going well, things are not going smooth, and for whatever reason, you don't quite feel like whatever it happens to be. Everybody understands that, right? And the paradox here is that sometimes when you don't quite feel like it, or things are not going smooth, or things are not working the way that you want them to work, sometimes there's a legitimate reason for that. And the reason might be, maybe you just have the wrong formula. Maybe you're doing things the wrong way. Maybe the thing that you're doing is just the thing that you should not be doing, and you just need a completely different approach. And therefore, staying steadfast in your discipline at doing that thing might be the exact opposite of what you need to be doing. So maybe the discipline is the exact thing that's hurting you and getting in your way, because being disciplined and continuing to do something that's not working might be the exact thing that's in the way of you finally finding the thing that does work. So if you stop being disciplined at this approach that doesn't work, then you create the vacuum, the empty space in which you can insert the thing that does work. Discipline is something that does work. And the reason why this is a paradox, this is the key, is because you don't know. The point is, you don't know. You don't know if quitting doing things this way is exactly what you need to do so you can do things that way. Because if you quit doing things in way one and start doing things in way two, there's no guarantee that doing things in way number two is going to work either. And it might mean, it also could be, hey, if you would have just stuck with doing things the first way for a little bit longer, things would have turned around and you would have started getting the results that you wanted. Or it could be, you stayed with way one way too long. You should have switched to doing things in the second way much sooner, and you would have started getting your results a lot earlier. This is the paradox, because you never know. So how do you address this paradox? Here's the thing, and this is something that I've said this in other material, and I'll tell you all this right now. You never know whether you've made the right decision or not until you get to the end of the story. This is how it works in life. You got to get to the end of the story to find out, am I doing the right thing here? Is this the right approach, or should I take a different approach? Should I have taken a different approach? You don't know until you're looking back and basically reconstructing the puzzle, so to speak. So those of you who if you're familiar, Steve Jobs, the guy who was the brains behind Apple, he did this famous commencement speech at, I believe it was Stanford University, back in maybe like 2005, something like that, many years ago. And in the speech, Steve talks about how you can't tell whether the decisions that you've made were the right decisions or not until you look back on the situation. You don't know. All right, should I have started that company? Should I have stayed in that relationship? Should I have said yes to that business deal, or should I have said no to it? You don't know until after you go through a lot of the situation. You look back and you say, oh, I see how this decision led to that, and because of this happened, and because of this unfortunate thing, I got this fortunate thing that happened because of that. So you don't know till you get to the end. And this is the paradox, really not just the paradox of discipline, folks, but this is the paradox of life, period. Is that if we all knew, and it was just straight color by numbers, if this happens, do this, if somebody says this, do that, if it was just that easy and that cut and dry, then we would, first of all, we would all be robots and everybody could just know exactly what to do every single day, and we would all get replaced by artificial intelligence because it can make decisions a lot more efficiently and effectively than human beings do without making a mistake. So we would all be replaced. There would be no need for human beings. We'd just be, again, robots, automatons, just getting told what to do all the time. The point is, as humans, we got to make these decisions, and these decisions are not easy. And you have to look at the situation, use your best judgment, and figure it out. And good judgment usually comes from making bad decisions. And this is how it works in life. And again, this is why it's a paradox, because there is no simple or easy answer to the conundrum. And this is why humanity is humanity, because we got to make these choices, and what happens, happens, and how it turns out is how it turns out. And we just have to be able to think quickly on our feet, pivot when it's time to pivot, when we decide that it's time to pivot, and we see how things turn out. And in the end, we can tally up the results and see where did I make the right decision, where did I make the wrong decision, where could I have made a better decision. And these are things, again, that we only know once we get to the end of certain stories. The good news is, for all of us, I talk about this in my book, Work on Your Game, but you can get that book by going to workonyourgamebook.com, is that anytime things are not going the way that you want them to go in life, instead of putting a period at the end of the situation, put a comma. Those of you who know sentence structure, you understand that when you put a period at the end of a thought, that means that the thought is complete. And that's what a period means, like when you're reading, right? But when you put a comma at the end of a thought, that means that the thought is not complete. You still have more to say. You haven't said it all yet. That's what the comma means. The comma is just a pause in the sentence. We're not complete. We're not done saying what we need to say. There's still more that needs to be said here. I'm just putting a pause here just to let you know that there's more to come. So for all of you, if you're in a situation or circumstance right now in your life where things are not going the way that you want them to go, put a comma there that says, okay, there's more to be said here. I just haven't figured out what I'm going to say yet, rather than putting a period that says this is complete and it's not working and it's just not going to work out. So that's how you deal with that paradox mentally. And then when you have with the mental pieces in place, now you're equipped to handle it tactically and strategically. So with all that said, folks, that's today's daily discipline. Make sure you are texting me so you're getting my daily motivation text that I send out every day to everybody in my text community. My number is 305-384-6894. Numbers down below in the description. Also, workonyourgameuniversity.com. If you want to work with me directly and be coached by me directly, there's only one place to do it. That's inside the university. That link is also down below in the description. Hit the subscribe button so you're notified every time we drop a new video here on this channel, and work on your game. Dre all day.